What's up, YouTube? It's the one and only Captivated Notary Q. I got a question for you guys today. Did you spend time editing a template or even go as far as purchasing a template to use to market to other notaries? I'm sure that wasn't your intent, and I don't think that that's what you're doing. But I hate to tell you this, 9 times out of 10, that's exactly who you're marketing to. Let's talk about it. All right. So I know that Instagram is one of the most popular social media platforms out there today. And when you come into the notary business, you often hear, go and start a social media page for your notary business, which sounds like a good idea. A lot of the issue with this is that we think social media and we think of social media as our personal selves. What do we personally use for social media? A lot of us use Instagram, a lot of us are entertained by TikTok, and a lot of us use Facebook. Well, today we're just going to talk about Instagram because I really feel that a lot of notaries out there fail to take the time to research how they can actually use the tools that they plan on using when they start their businesses. Now, this isn't just for beginner notaries because on Instagram, I follow a lot of you guys. There are a lot of seasoned notaries that are on Instagram today. And my question is, when you set out to market on Instagram, do you really know the statistics behind Instagram? And for a lot of you guys, if this is your only place of marketing, how many people and who is actually seeing what it is that you're marketing? So, one of the things that I want to talk about is that with Instagram, it is a known fact that only 9% of the people that follow you will ever see what you post. Here, let's take a look. All right, so as we can see here on this website, this is from WordStream. This is just a blog that I found on Google. Let's go over some demographic stats for Instagram. Now, as we can see on the screen, 80% of users are outside of the US for Instagram. Keep that number in mind. Only 80% of them are within the US. Most Instagram users are between the ages of 18 and 29 years old. That's where I want to stop at. All right, as we just saw in that article, the majority of Instagram users are between 18 and 29 years old, which tells us that we're cutting off a large population of those people that are actually using notary services because as we all know with our businesses, it's a lot of older folks that are using our services on a regular basis or businesses, right? So we already know that the target audience in Instagram is 18 to 29. And the reason why you should take this into consideration is because if you're only using Instagram for marketing your notary business, that and Google Business Profile, you're missing out on a huge population of people that can actually use your services. The other thing that I want you to consider when you think about these numbers is if only 20% of Instagram's users are from the US and the target audience is 18 to 29 years old, if all you're doing is using Instagram to market your notary business, you're missing a huge target audience. And if you're spending a lot of time doing that, what you're doing is really wasting time. You're not really doing any effective marketing. And I'm going to show you a little bit more of why you're not doing any effective marketing. Let's take a look. So with anything with social media, you really want to make sure that you're keeping an eye on your metrics. And what your metrics are is they will tell you how many people are interacting with whatever it is that you post on social media. Instagram has it, Facebook has it, I believe TikTok has it. I don't know, I don't use TikTok. But I know that all of these platforms have what they call insights for you to be able to gauge how well your posts are doing. Now, I want us to take a look at this other website. This is another blog that somebody wrote, and they shared a little bit of information with us, but right there in the purple, that's what I want us to focus on. Reach rate is another Instagram metric that tells you the percentage of followers that see your posts. To calculate reach rate, divide the total reach of a post by your total number of followers. For example, if you have 500 reach and 2,000 followers, your reach rate is 25%, which sounds great, right? However, right underneath here, right there, reach benchmark, the average reach rate for brands with large followings is 12% of posts and 2% of stories. This is mind-blowing. Let's talk about that. So a large brand, and we're talking about some of the biggest brands out there, brands that have 300,000 followers, 400,000 followers, brands like Nike, Puma, and some of those other brands that are out there that we're all familiar with. Only 12% of people that follow them are seeing what they post. Here's the question: what makes you think that you, on a much smaller level, are getting better traction than them? Right? So if you only got, and you're not a large brand, right? A large brand is getting 12%, so they're getting a push from the algorithm. In reality, only about 9% of people that follow you will ever see what you post. 9%. So go to your Instagram page, look at your followers, and then take 9% of that. That's who sees what you post. Now, here's where you really need to think about things when it comes to Instagram. Naturally, the way Instagram works is you follow somebody and somebody follows you back, right? That's generally the way that it goes. In the notary world, we're all kind of following each other because we're showing each other support, right? Where that becomes an issue is if most of your followers are notaries and only 9% of those followers are ever going to see what you post, then the only thing that you're doing is posting advertisement for your notary business to other notaries. Let that sink in. You know, I encourage everyone to go out there and market their business. I run a marketing company, Captivated Notary Marketing Solutions. I think the problem that most notaries have is they don't know how to use the tools that they have. Instagram is not a tool that I use for my notary business, Q the Notary, to market my notary services. Why? Because my customers aren't there. Okay, unless you have a huge community following and you're out there in the community like that, some of us are, a lot of us aren't, nobody's ever gonna see what you are posting that you want to see what you're posting. This isn't the platform for notaries, for a small business to grow. Instagram is not a place for your notary business to grow. What it is a good place for is if you are a trainer, which I believe most of the trainers are on Instagram, you know, putting out their training courses. If you are hosting an event, this is a great place to advertise to notaries. I hope you caught what I just said. Advertise to notaries, right? And if you're smart, you'll understand why I say that. Now, if you are doing some type of training, some type of mentorship, hosting some type of event in your area, Instagram's the place to be. You want to know why? Because most notaries are in there advertising to other notaries. So why wouldn't you do the same thing? I advertise a lot on Instagram, actually, for Captivated Notary. Why? Because my target audience is notaries. That's why I'm there. That's why you see me on there. I wouldn't be on there if my target audience wasn't on there. And I think that a lot of times we don't realize how to identify where our target audience is. And that's really important when you start running a business. You have to know where the people are that are going to use your services. And right now, I'm going to tell you, on the large scale, Instagram ain't it for us. There are other platforms out there that serve us a lot better and will get us more in contact with our community and even get us in better contact with smaller businesses that if we're looking to do more business-to-business relationships. Instagram really ain't that place, being honest with you. Now, you might have a couple of realtors or law firms that follow you on Instagram, but remember, only 9% of people are going to see what you are posting, and generally those 9% of people are people that typically like what you post on a regular basis anyway, or they spend a couple of seconds on your post, or they like it, or they comment or something like that. Those people are going to make up that 9% of people that see you. So you have to keep that into consideration as well. So if you have friends that are lawyers, that are realtors, that you follow, there's a good chance that not even they're seeing what you're posting. Just I'm trying to help you guys, man, because what I've seen is a lot of notaries posting their templates that they've purchased on Instagram, expecting that that's going to get them customers. For 99% of you guys, it will not. You know, posting what a notary is supposed to do and all of those things, it sounds good. Are you using your time in the best way? That's really what this video is all about. You know, I don't want to see a lot of notaries out there talk about the notary business, the money's not there, when your marketing is not hitting its target audience. A lot of times that's why your notary business is failing. So, if Instagram isn't the powerhouse of marketing for a small notary business, then what is it that we can use? Take a second, think about it. Those of you that have talked to me before know this is how I built my Q the Notary business. Facebook. Why Facebook? Because Facebook has community groups. Okay. Now, I know that there's a lot of articles out there for notaries that say, go and start a Facebook page and join a bunch of notary groups. My question to that is, why? Those are not my customers. The notary groups are not my customers. Now, if I have a question about being a notary, absolutely. Find a state notary group. I think all of them have state notary groups, and ask your question, because you want to be state specific with those things, because every state has their own laws. So make sure you have access to a state group to ask state specific questions, or work with a mentor or trainer that's in your state to ask those questions too. You have to be careful about receiving information as far as the laws go from somebody else outside of your state, okay? Just want to make that very clear. But Facebook has community groups, and guess what? Facebook is the largest social media platform in the world for ages. I think it's like 28 and up, 29 and up. Okay, and a lot of middle-aged folks to older folks have learned to use Facebook, and they're not learning to use these other social media platforms on a grand scale. Now, somebody's auntie or grandmama might be on TikTok and Instagram, and that's cool, and that's all fine and dandy, but we're talking about a majority, not a minority. Okay, the majority of folks that use our services are on Facebook, and they're in community groups. What kind of community groups am I talking about? Groups that actually pertain to where you live. So in my area, we have East Fallowfield groups, we've got Coatesville groups, we've got Thorndale groups, and this is where the community talks about community events. They also talk about things that are happening in the community. You know, if somebody hears a loud bang at 2 o'clock in the morning, I can almost guarantee you that somewhere in a community group in your area, somebody's talking about it. See, the thing is, when it comes to marketing, you want to get in front of your clients or your prospective clients, the people that you want to earn business from. And with Q the Notary, I took the approach of, let's get known within the community. That way that my community knows that I exist. Because if I want my business to last for 5-10 years, I'm going to need my community to support my business. You know, a lot of us get into the notary business and we say, okay, I'm going to be a loan signing agent only. Okay, but what happens if the market's not booming in your area, right? And then you turn around and say, well, the notary business isn't all it's cracked up to be. Not necessarily, because had you gone out and connected with your community and put out those same advertisements in those community groups, I can almost guarantee you that your phone would start ringing pretty quickly. That's how it happened for Q the Notary and everybody else that I've worked with. That's how it's happened for them too. But you have to be diligent about it. You can't just post once every 2 weeks. I mean, you can if you wanted to, but you have to post on a weekly basis, consistent basis. Now, when it comes to Facebook marketing, what I would say is wait for the 1st and the 15th for a majority of those community groups, because that's when the larger community groups that have 17,000 people in them, they open up they allow small businesses to start to post their businesses. So on the first, we've got a community group out here in Downingtown, large population. I think there's like 30,000 people in that group. It's only open on the 1st and the 15th. Why? Because a lot of these community groups don't want businesses spamming their groups. They want to talk about real issues. And this is actually a place for you to join in on the conversation. So that way, when the small business days come up where you're allowed to post, people are already familiar with you. See, I think in a notary business, we're afraid to expose ourselves. We're afraid to be ourselves. And unfortunately, when you're a business, especially with a notary business, you have to let people see you. You have to let people know who you are. You know, just saying that you're a notary, they can go to a bank to get notarizations. They can also go to a license and titling place. Here in Pennsylvania, we've got a place called Wiggins. Shout out to Wiggins. You know, where you can go to get your title transferred. Now, as a notary here in Pennsylvania, that's something that, you know, the notaries with the brick and mortars, that's generally what they have because that's required to do title transfers. So how do you separate yourself from them with your marketing? Now, when it comes to tags and title places like the ones around me, they've been up for 15, 20 years. People already know about their existence. People will go to them just because they've been there forever. So as a new business, your job is to be available. Answer the phone when your community calls you. Be there, smile, you know, be pleasant, deliver a great service, be personable, be likable. And that's what's going to help your notary business grow. That is the best marketing that you can do. You know, putting all this stuff out on the internet, I mean, that's fun and that's great. And, you know, it's funny to hear me say that considering I run a marketing company as a digital creator and I create a lot of this stuff. So what does my company do? We help people with those advertisements to make sure that it's going to captivate their intended audience. That's why it's captivated. It's always captivated, baby. That's what we do. But what I will tell anybody that works with Captivated Notary Marketing Solutions is that the best way to market yourself is 1, know your state laws. 2, answer your phone. 3, be available. That's it. That's the best way to market yourself. Using all of these tools like Facebook and Google Business Profile, they're nice, but all they are is just tools. You have to go out there and do the job. You have to deliver the service. You got to get people saying that that's a reputable company. That's what's most important. Posting on Instagram really isn't going to help you. It may help you get some friends in the notary world, which that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. I've made tons of connections through Instagram in the notary world because my business kind of requires that, running a notary marketing business. It's kind of required. You know what I mean? But for Q the Notary, I'm on Facebook. I'm walking outside of my house with a t-shirt or my work shirt, which is just a polo, or a hoodie that has Q the Notary on it anytime that I step outside of my house. I'm constantly advertising and letting people know that there's a notary around them. And that's the type of level of marketing that you've got to be willing to do. You know, invest in your business. You know, and it's tough because a lot of new notaries, they invest in the information and don't invest in the business as far as what they need to do for marketing. And then when it comes to marketing, you try to do it really cheap. You try to go on Canva and make some type of design that looks halfway decent, not knowing any design elements. You know, your texts are kind of all over the place, or there's contrast between the colors that don't really work well. And now you've put your business in a poor position to be represented properly, the way that you envision your business to be represented. So what I want you guys to get out of this is that Instagram is not the be-all, end-all for a notary business. It is a great platform for the notary trainers and those that host events, or those that have some type of training call or something along those lines, because social media is not the notary business. If you're trying to get customers that are actually going to use your business and use your stamp and help further the revenue that you bring in for your family, Instagram ain't it. Prove me wrong. Leave a comment down in the comment section and give me your thoughts. If you have a good rebuttal on this, I'd love to hear it. But by the numbers, for us, Instagram ain't it. Hey, it's Captivated Notary. Like, share, and subscribe down at the bottom. Make sure that you check out the Notaries Unsealed podcast on all major streaming platforms. And let me know what you think down in the bottom. It's Captivated, baby. We out of here. Peace.